In full transparency, guys, I actually recorded this whole entire intro already, but my speaker or my mic was dead. And so I was talking to myself, not knowing that literally the whole 10-15 minute ramble was for a waste. And so I honestly don't know how to record or how to start saying the things I was saying 15-20 minutes ago again. But welcome to the Med to Be, guys. Welcome to the Med to Be podcast. I have missed you dearly. I have missed recording. I have missed connecting. I have missed sharing and encouraging you through the interviews and the stories of those on this podcast. And I'm so happy to be back. If this is your first time meeting me, hello. I am Nneoma Nzeduru. I am the founder, the host, the CEO of the Med to Be, of the Med to Be. I have been working as the founder, host, CEO of the Med to Be since 2021, 2022-ish. 3 years. The Med to Be has been dedicated to encouraging, uplifting, and educating the current and future leaders of healthcare while also sharing community health education resources. What that means is just facts, tips, resources for you to be encouraged and educated on fundamental healthcare knowledge, y'all. We're trying to keep you healthy and wholesome. Now, what we had done previously, in previous years, I have been interviewing MDs, DOs on their experiences in healthcare, but now we've pivoted a little bit to open it up to all health professionals, all health careers, because I believe it's important for there to be representation for people of color in all spheres. And so I want you, the current and the future generation of healthcare, to see people just like you existing and thriving and succeeding, and also encouraging you and educating you to do the same as well. In this interview, I interviewed Osereme, a pharmacy student pursuing her career to become a pharmacist, and we talk about the ins and outs, the ups and downs, triumphs and challenges of pursuing this career. Osereme was very transparent and honest about her thought process to choosing to become a pharmacist. I felt myself really represented in her story, and I really loved her candid nature, and I loved how she carried us along in her journey. And so without further ado, let's get into the interview for today. Let me know your thoughts, questions, feedback, additional insights, and who you would like to see next too on the Med to Be. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Med to Be. I am Nneoma Nzeduru, and with me here is Osereme. She's a first-year pharmacy student at the University of Maryland School of Pharmacy. Welcome, girl.
Hello.
How are you doing
Excited to be
today?
here.
Thank you.
I'm great. Honestly, today was I had a quiz this morning, so then I was just like, let me take a little minute to get myself together because this week was a lot, and that was the end of the a lot. But
Good.
other than that, it's been a great week. Looking for a better weekend. So
That's
yeah.
good. That's really good. Happy to have you here. Thank you so much for saying yes to being on the podcast and coming to the platform to share your story. But before we get into the nitty gritty of why you're interested in pharmacy, what it's like being in pharmacy school, I want to ask you some rapid fire questions. I told you ahead of time, this is not things you can prepare for. That's the fun of it, that you can't prepare. But I want you, let's do 3, 4, let's see how it goes. Pick a number between 1 and 20.
8.
Okay. If you had to wear one color of scrubs for the rest of your life, what color would it be?
Teal.
Teal. It's very easy. Very nice blue.
Yeah.
Very okay. Nice. Another number 1 through 20.
Okay. Number 10.
10. Name one pharmacy myth you'd like to debunk.
Ooh, pharmacists are only community pharmacists.
Hmm. But okay, explain that a little bit more. They're into the text, another tech space, but the
Uh,
biotech space.
Yes, so
Okay.
pharmacists actually have a range of functional areas that they can go into, especially
Mm-hmm.
these days. I think I actually just worked on a history project of like pharmacy education throughout the years.
Mm-hmm.
But in this day and age, pharmacists actually have multiple roles. They could be in community, which is the typical like how people see pharmacists,
Mm-hmm.
and then they could also be in clinical, which is hospital. They could be part of interprofessional teams, and then they could also be in industry or government, which is
Mm-hmm.
and also part of like managed care, something that people don't really know. It's kind of one of those things that people don't really talk about. But in like pharmaceuticals and stuff, they can actually like pharmacists can also get like law degrees and stuff like that to kind of like enforce certain roles like regulatory affairs, medical sales. Like they're literally everywhere. But
Wow, very
you wouldn't
diverse.
know because people
Very
don't really speak
diverse.
about it.
Wow. So does the other programs that offer like combined degrees, like a pharmacy degree and a JD
Yeah.
and an MPH? Wow, that's nice. Okay,
Yeah.
that's great to
MD,
know.
you could do PharmD, MD,
Hmm.
PharmD masters. Like one of the things I plan to do is get another master's while I'm in here because it's one of the things that my program offers is you without extra cost you can actually get a master's degree in a specific area like either your MBS, like business, regulatory affairs, pharmacometrics, so many other things. Yeah.
That's nice. Well, that's really thank you for letting us know about that.
No problem.
Okay, next one, 1 through 20.
Hmm. Oh, let me do 18.
18. What's the most interesting thing you've Googled during class or before an exam?
Ooh, that one caught me off guard. Okay, I think for like after class today's quiz, I had to Google something about just to see if I had the right answer. Whether
Mm-hmm.
exothermic processes are always spontaneous. And the answer
Mm-hmm.
was no. Then I'm pretty sure I picked yes.
Chai. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I
It's
was like
okay.
no.
It's okay. Do you always review the questions after the exam, or do you like to like let it sit?
I let it sit most of the
Yeah.
time, but if something's like really just something I feel like I should have gotten like correct,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, nah, I have to know this before the day
I get that.
ends. That's
I
when
get that.
I don't like discussing things with people. Like, so you know how people like sometimes they stay after class and start.
I'm
Me,
never.
I'm out. There was
I'm
this
telling
one
you.
boy tried to do that. I said bye.
Yes, I've never been that person. As a what? I've never been that person. No,
Like
please. It
no,
was too much. No, no,
especially on
no.
a Friday.
I'm
No,
telling you. Yo, same. I've never been that person. Okay, last one. Let's do again 1 through 20.
12.
12. Which fictional character would you choose as a study buddy?
Hermione.
Hermione? Oh, because she has very
Hermione Granger.
intelligent.
Yep,
Good one. Okay. Are you a Harry Potter girly?
I am.
The way that flew off the jump
Like
was
I was
very,
like,
yeah.
for sure. And I just
Mhm.
watched like the Harry Potter series again
Nice.
this past month, October,
Mhm.
obviously. So it's like, yeah, Hermione for sure.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah,
good. Okay. Interesting. Thank you so much. Thank you for participating in the rapid questions. You did
yeah,
a
that
great
was
job.
fun.
Yes. Okay. Now pivoting to the serious nitty gritty,
Mm.
I always start with the standard why question. Why did you choose to pursue a degree in pharmacy? Really quick history between me and Osereme. We met like a year ago, 2 years ago, and I think at the time I met you were thinking about pursuing a degree as an MD,
Yes.
but you pivoted,
Yeah.
and I love that, and I want to know why and what you learned in that pivot. Actually, I'm asking you so many questions. Why did you choose to go to pharmacy
I
school?
mean, I
Let's
was
start
like,
there.
look, take it away. I love it. Tell me about myself. But
Yes.
yeah, I chose to pivot from MD to PharmD for a couple reasons.
Yeah.
So I was working at the time. This might be a
Mhm.
long-winded response, by the way.
It's okay.
But I was working in pharmaceuticals at the time. I worked at LabCorp, then I moved on to work at a biotech company, and I was just like, I want to go back to school. And I
Hmm.
took my MCAT during that period of time. I also did a master's to help improve my grade for medical school and everything.
Hmm.
But as I was kind of doing more research in terms of like what I want for myself, and also kind of like being in the workforce kind of opened my eyes to so many things. I was just like, you know what? I want a life that's not gonna be just work, 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 and but also be able to, do my part in society, right?
Hmm.
Within the healthcare field, within bio, because I love the sciences. So I was just like, what are my options? I looked into everything, like dental hygienist, what's a physician's assistant, like
Hmm.
just things that still make. And another thing too is like I wanted to be more family focused
Hmm.
because when I talk about like personal life goals, like I want to be a mom. I want to make sure I have time for my kids, but I also want to make sure that I equip them properly in life so that they can, enjoy life, and that means money. Let's
Hmm.
be real. So I was just like, I don't think medical field at this point is gonna do it for me.
Hmm.
So, and it was a sad. realization. I won't lie, because sometimes like you grow up expecting or wanting this one thing, and then you realize at one point in life that it's not the thing you thought it was. Because another reason was that I had friends in medical school, and the stress levels that they were like
No, I get,
enduring,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just was like, do I want to enjoy this even more than I already have? And then also just the things that I would see or hear about like the like school process, just how taxing it can be and rigorous. I mean, rigor is a part of life, right? But it's just like it just seemed like an unfair compared to the world stage how other countries do medical school. The way the U.S. does medical school, I just was not messing with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the way they make it like such a hard thing to do. Because I actually went to high school at a health science school, so I've had the medical background or health background for a while. So this seemed like the right step going forward. But there was just so many things that I was seeing that I was just not clicking with me. So then when I met a friend of mine, actually in church too. She's a pharmacist, and then there was another guy in the church who was a pharmacist too. Two different things though. Like she pivoted towards community, and I was just like, I don't know if I wanted the community, you know. Because another thing was I wasn't too interested in direct patient care anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, you know, I can't do it. I think being in biotech and just working behind the scenes, I got to like just feel like I was involved in the more of the back in the more early stages
Mm-hmm.
of treatment, which I liked better than diagnosing and stuff. Because pharmacists don't diagnose; we just kind of help the team figure out a managed treatment management plan and stuff like that. So it's just so funny once I started discussing this with them and seeing their different perspectives, I was just like, why didn't I look this up in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just very easy for me to then be like, well, not easy because it took a while. But when it clicked, it clicked. And it's funny enough, last year I had my application open since last year. And so this is going into like my whole process with
Mm-hmm.
applying. So I had my whole application started from last year. I got my new job at the biotech company and I was working. I was like, I'm going to put the application in. I'm going to put the application in. And by February, I still hadn't put my application in. And in my head, I'm just like, what's the wait? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, I wanted to stay in the company, so I have a good tenure with them. But at the same time, I knew that wasn't why.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't until someone special in my life really was just like, oh, you really need like, if this is the time, do it now. You know,
Mm-hmm.
people just started to like really back me up and be like, you can
Mm-hmm.
do this, da 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 da. So in May of 2024, I finally put my applications for pharmacy school. Now, the first two schools I put in for was UMSOP, the one I'm in now, and Howard.
Mm-hmm.
And I also put for Rutgers as well, so three schools.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and UMSOP and Howard hit me back up right away. So I had the
Wow.
interviews with them by May ending, and then at this point, I didn't get word back from Rutgers till about June.
Mm-hmm.
But, and it's so funny because I told myself I'm not going to UMSOP because I had like four prereqs that I had not done, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this might be my last summer of like fun. Like, why would I waste it doing prereqs and working and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
But something came upon me, and I was just like, no, you got to do this, right? So somehow I found a way to pay through these prereqs. It was like anatomy, economics, and like two other things. I don't know why I'm blanking, but like I don't even know how I did it, but somehow I finished all those prereqs just in time to start school. Mind
Wow.
you, I had to put my FAFSA in. I had to. So over the summer, like I felt like I was apologizing a lot to people because I had to cancel plans or I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't there available to do certain things because I'm like I have an exam. Because you know summer school is like rapid. It's like one exam every
Back to
1 or 2
back,
weeks.
yeah.
So and I was taking like anatomy, physiology, and macroeconomics. I've never seen macroeconomics in my life. That thing was crazy. So so yeah, so I was just going through all that and it just felt
Mm-hmm.
like it wasn't really me. You know, I always say like through this whole process I feel like God was really stewarding every milestone that I reached because not only did I get the money for these classes to take these classes, but I also was able to pass these classes with either B's or A's.
Wow.
So it was just like, if anything, this proved to me that I belonged where I was going. And
Mm-hmm.
then Rutgers didn't even get to me till like June about an interview. So I was just like, by that time, I'm like, I already started this process,
Mm-hmm.
you know, getting these prereqs done. And I just loved how open the UMSOP interview was. First, I talked to a student, then a faculty member, and they were so interested in getting to know about me, getting to know about my history and my process. And then also, I was able to ask them questions, and they answered superbly. And then there was also the thing in the back of my head. I'm like, DMV. What does the DMV have? Because Jersey is known as the home of like most like biotech and like
Mm-hmm.
pharmaceutical companies, but DMV also has, you know, certain pharmaceutical companies like GSK and what's the other one? Blanking again. But but it also has a lot of government agencies like the
Yes. True.
FDA
Mm-hmm.
around here.
CDC.
So it just like all came together so beautifully. And Howard, I did get an interview. They accepted me as well. But eventually I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go with Maryland.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think one thing that's really sticking out to me, your story, is like when it clicked, it
It
clicked.
clicked.
And even when we talked about it in the pre-interview, I was like so excited when things like the way things worked for you
Yeah.
so consistently and so quickly and with so much ease.
So
Like you
much
said, it could really like one. We thank God that He was with you through that time, stewarding that story, that story of your life, because His evidence is definitely there. So, wow. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you again for sharing. Thank you also for sharing like the honesty and pivoting and what kind of geared your mind and shifted your focus towards this path that is where you are now, where you're thriving in. Um,
I also wanted to say, like,
yeah.
this is nothing against the medical field. I think, like,
No shade. Yeah,
no
yeah,
shade. Like, look, people in medicine, I give you your complete accolades.
yeah.
Like, you know, there's some days that I still like, "Ugh, should I have done it? Could I have done it? You know,
Hmm.
but I'm so happy with where I am. And
Yeah.
if you're happy with where you are, continue to do the good work in which God has allowed you to do. You
Hmm.
know, I think at the end of the day, we do need people, even in pharmacy, we have to advocate for our professions. You know, so it's just like in medicine, you have to advocate. Go, if your school does an advocacy program where they go to DC to talk about things, do it, because there is a big problem within the system. And so, in a lot of these professions, and it needs to be fixed. So,
Hmm.
you know, that's just my input with that.
Okay. Thank you. With pivoting to rather with turning this dream into a vision, from taking these prereqs and starting school, what was your experience like? Was everything? What was the reality versus the what you had in mind for what pharmacy school was going to be? How did you structure your days now that you were finally in pharmacy school?
Um, so because I knew what school was, I mean, with college and
Hmm.
doing my master's, I already knew I had to come in like
Ready to study, ready to work
ready,
hard. Yeah.
exactly, because, you know, which also made me grateful that I transitioned from prereqs into school, because
Hmm.
I got into study
Sure.
mode again, because I finished my master's last year, so I had like a
Mm-hmm.
year of just, you know, chilling. But, you know, having that prereqs transitioning into school, it got me back into that study mode that I needed to do. And also, I think like being aware of who I was as a student was important for me coming into pharmacy school. I think in college I didn't know who I was as a student. I knew I was as a person to some degree, but not as a student. And I think like knowing who you are as a student, are you the type of person that wakes up early to study,
Mm-hmm.
waits till nighttime to study, midday? What is your study um, routine? What does it look like? Do you like to have more fun on the weekends, or do you like to take some breaks during the weekday? Like really honing those skills, knowing if are you a short term memory or long term memory type of person. Should you be studying as the class is progressing? Should you study before the class starts? Should
Mm-hmm.
you know, be taking notes? Like you need to know a lot of these things as a student. So I think I really had to sit myself down and really understand myself as a student before I even came into the program. And I knew for sure I had to kind of go with the classes.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, also I go to class literally 95% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just not an online person per se, which also impacted my decision, because I knew I had to be in class for a lot of the lectures, because I retain a lot more when I'm present and asking direct questions directly to the professor.
In that tune of reality of being in pharmacy school, how do you integrate your moments of enjoyment? One thing about you that you mentioned, you're an enjoyment girly. You love a good time. You love to live life.
Yeah.
So how have you made time to live life and to pour into the different outlets of yourself while you're in pharmacy school?
I'm not the best at time management, even till now, honestly speaking. And I think time management is a skill. Like, if you know how to manage your time, you are good. But I think it's a skill that you nurture as you go
Yeah.
on. For me, it's because I know I'm an enjoyment girly.
Hmm.
I know that when it's time to study, it's
Hmm.
time to study. Like,
Yeah.
I think I go by that rule where it's like, okay, I'm more of a like a 20-minute focus, and then like 20-minute enjoyment,
Hmm.
20-minute focus. But then there's sometimes where some materials just like I just get so another thing is because I enjoy the material. If I enjoy material, I will sit there for like hours looking at it.
Wow.
So that's another thing about knowing what you want to do with your life, because it's like
Hmm.
if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're gonna look at it like this. What's the point of this? And there's certain lectures like that for me where I look at it and I'm just like, oh,
Hmm.
what is this even about? Like I had to learn about
Hmm.
like something like pharmaceutical sciences where you have to learn about colloids and like different liquids and stuff. And I was just like, but I also know that in order for me to get to where I need to go, I need
Hmm.
to focus on that material,
Yeah.
no matter whether I like it or not. But it
Hmm.
does help when I actually like the material. But in
Hmm.
terms of like how I manage my time in terms of like studying versus enjoyment, I think like if I go out one weekend or if I do something one weekend, the next weekend I'm at home.
Locked in.
And then
Yeah.
the next week I do what I have to do during the week and do what I have to do. There's actually something one of our classes we do what we call wellness activities, which I love about the program. It means that you actually have to incorporate some type of like wellness as you're in the school. So they make you like write reflections based on like whatever you did, whether it was fitness. Like I even started incorporating fitness back into my life because it was sticky, very sticky ground.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, but I found that it's helped me, in terms of focus. Like if I go in the morning, I
Hmm.
go to class, I'm very in tune with what's going on. So it's just like it's a part of. I think a part of enjoyment is also, I say health is wealth. So
Hmm.
like also knowing what you're putting into your body,
Hmm.
or like exercising and stuff, is also part of what I would put in my enjoyment box, because although it's good to go out with friends, do activities and stuff, it's also very important when you're in school to know how you are managing like your eating, your
Yep.
exercising,
Hmm.
your well-being, like your mental, like are you mentally here? Do you need to
Hmm.
maybe go to a therapist for certain things? Are you struggling in classes and maybe need to actually like find an out a certain outlet that's not like going out and doing all this other stuff. Like you really need to like, besides enjoyment in the terms that we see it as, you have to focus on your well-being.
Hmm.
Like I found that when I was first starting school, I wasn't eating the most healthy, and sometimes it would weigh me down. Like, and I'm like, why am I struggling to like retain certain things? And then I changed my diet a bit, and I was just like, oh, okay, now I'm up and I'm healthier and I'm feeling more energized to do this.
Hmm.
So that's kind of what's been going on.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, definitely. I can agree. I thank you for expanding on what enjoyment is.
Mm,
Definitely that social aspect, but also making sure you're taking care of your body as well. It's very
right.
important. True. I feel like in the health field, we can't be prescribing and telling people what to do if we're the
Mm-hmm.
ones that are not
When
following that as well. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing that. Another thing that I wanted to touch on
Mm-hmm.
is moments of struggle and failure.
Mm,
I think in the lives of successful people, there are stories of failure and struggle. You can't get to the mountain. You have to try and try and try and try and try and fail. Sometimes I used to have a very bad habit of always wanting to be good at everything at the
oh,
first try.
yeah.
And when it wasn't, which it most times is not, I was very
Mm-hmm.
upset. So now I've come to terms that failure is it's part of the journey from time to time. So how have you navigated struggle slash failure
Mm-hmm.
in this journey of yours? And if you don't mind sharing a story, just
Mm-hmm.
to share some tips on how to navigate that.
I think the I think one scripture that I always keep in mind is I'm gonna mess this up, but
Okay, it's
it's like
okay. We
when
can
you
reference it.
face
We can double check.
okay, so adversity is like when you face adversities or when trials and tribulations come, be happy about it
Mm-hmm.
in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like thank God for because it's like those things are making way for you as a person to get better.
Mm-hmm.
So we gonna find that real quick.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay, good.
Um, when trials and tribulations come, I'm gonna look it up.
I'm looking up to.
Yes,
Oh,
adversity.
here it is.
Okay, good. Which one? What
Okay,
verse? What is it?
James 1.
James 1. Not as new in the Bible. Hey, that's
Oh
what
my
we're
look, y'all
girl.
prophets to do something different.
Literally.
Okay.
James what?
James 1, 2 to 4.
James 1, 2 to 4. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So it says, consider it pure joy when you face trials and tribulations, for the testing of your faith produces perseverance.
Mm.
And there's a lot of other scriptures that I use too, but I think like when you face failures, especially whether it's in your field or in life,
Mm-hmm.
um, like for me, I guess a story would be this journey in itself. Was I disappointed when a lot of my friends were going to medical school and I was not? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did I feel a hint of like, let's be honest, jealousy? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but I also knew that the jealousy, first of all, couldn't transcend me, you know, putting it on them.
Mm-hmm.
I made sure I would correct myself. I'm like, you are happy for these people.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, and I would even try, like, sometimes, like, I would try my best to help my friends, like, whatever way I could, like, sending them messages,
Mm-hmm.
really encouraging them. Like, you're doing great, sweetie. Keep going. You know what I mean? Like, because I knew that one day I would get to that point too.
Mm-hmm.
So that faith of I might not be there now, but I'll get there someday also helped me in what I would consider failures.
Yeah.
I think so that's one thing, but
Mm-hmm.
also like when I would get certain grades that I was not anticipating, I don't dwell. That's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do not dwell on things. I tell this to people too in life. I'm like, stop dwelling on it. Because the more
Mm-hmm.
you dwell on something, the more you're going to train your mind to then be
Think
so
about it.
focused on it that you
Yeah.
don't. Because, first of all, my school, this semester is what we consider a weed out semester. A lot of time, we have like exams like every week.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't sit here and be like, oh my gosh, I got a bad grade on this. Let me let me sit here and cry about it and do this. I'm not saying crying is bad or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm saying like if you know you didn't put in the effort to get a good grade, why are you crying? Do better.
Mm.
Like you know what I mean? I'm just being real.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
because some people it's just like they'll cry about something. I'm just like when you reflect on how you actually studied for this, how you actually went about, because that's what you should be doing. You shouldn't be crying too much.
Mm-hmm.
You should actually be reflecting. Not dwelling, but reflecting on what you can improve on and trying to improve on it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't do so well on one of my exams. And I was looking at myself like, okay, cool. But it's not the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
The next exam is in 2 weeks or a month from now, whatever it is. We got to move on. I think as long as you have breath in your lungs, you
Mm.
have the capacity to change, to
True.
evolve, to be better. And so it's just like in every capacity, in every medium of your life, you have to have that mindset. Do not dwell. You can cry, but do not dwell.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
You can cry, but do not dwell. That's a word, girl.
Mhm.
Honestly. That's so true. I think another question that I have is kind of like a bonus question is actually no, I do have two more questions for you. This one is more very career specific.
Mhm.
What are some things that just in what you've learned already as a pharmacist, what are some things that patients or like the everyday person can do to improve their interactions with pharmacists?
Okay. Um, First off, I think this more so pertains to like community and clinical.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that just knowing, because pharmacists are actually considered like the first, kind of like the first line of defense when it comes to healthcare workers, because
Mm.
they're the most accessible healthcare workers
Oh,
actually.
yeah.
So I think most people, when they're having like questions, they think
Mm-hmm.
first, oh, let me, especially medication questions,
Mm-hmm.
like literally pharmacists are medication experts. That's what we're known for. So we're supposed to know, like, we literally go to school to learn how these, something called pharmacodynamics and pharmacokinetics, how these drugs interact with your body and how the body interacts with the drug. So these two elements we should be proficient at. So when you have medication questions, you should feel comfortable calling up your local, like Walgreens, CVS, or if you feel more comfortable calling up the hospital and asking for the pharmacy department, asking for a pharmacist to kind of explain to you how to take or what to take, in terms of like either pain, like whether you're like in need of like laxatives, whatever it is that you need, because there might be something called like medication education. We're supposed to like educate, like let's say you go to a pharmacist, for example, right, at a local Walgreens, and you get something, whether it's even prescription or OTC, over the counter.
Over the counter, yeah.
Yeah, some people don't know, like, you don't have to just go to the aisle and look through and try to pick for yourself. You can actually ask a pharmacist and be like, hey, I'm kind of like going through like constipation right now or constant diarrhea. Do you know what medication I can take over the counter to fix this problem? Because some people, even me before then, I would just go to the pharmacist, the pharmacy, and I would just pick out like whatever pain relief, especially us women when we're going through like period pains or whatever it is. Just pick up, oh, okay, let me just take any drug, Tylenol, extra strong, anything. But sometimes like there are medications that are more, have more side effects than you actually need to relieve a certain pain, like Aleve and ibuprofen. Those are NSAIDs versus like Tylenol extra strength was acetaminophen. So NSAIDs actually cause,
Hey, this is serious. Girl, you wow.
you know, like different drugs branded, because that's how we know our brands and our generics. So we know, like, okay, you're only feeling a little bit of pain, so you only need to take about 500 milligrams of this instead of like 1200. You know what I mean? So ask your pharmacist, and they can properly like give you based on the pain that you're, and don't be afraid to actually, like the doctors, tell them what you're experiencing, because the point is they're supposed to ask you questions so that they can come to a conclusion on what medication is best for you. So I think a lot of people don't know that, and they just go to the pharmacy and just kind of pick whatever medication. If it doesn't work, they go back and pick another one, and it's just like you're having all these interactions in your body that could end up causing bigger problems than needed. So I bet if you haven't been doing it before, go to they're there for a reason. They literally are working. So go to them, be like, hey, I need something. Can you help me? Period.
Okay. Okay, pharmacist, period. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was actually very helpful. I definitely think I've been underutilizing my pharmacist. Need to step it up. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. What? Okay. Last question. Before we leave, at the end of my episodes, I'd like to ask my guests to send a message to a future pharmacist, someone thinking about a career in pharmacy. I call it the meant to be. So, to the meant to be, what is your message of encouragement, of advice, of caution, of encouragement, of wisdom? What do you have to say to the people today?
I should have wrote a list, but
So, do you have a long list?
no. I said I should have wrote a list so I could
Oh,
just.
okay, I was to give us the whole list. Don't know.
But
Yes.
I would say, don't give up on your dreams.
Okay.
I think a lot of people, they see failure and they think that this is not meant for me, or this is not this. If it's truly what you want to do it. Secondly, I would say as a pharmacist, I think try to be the best pharmacist that you can be. Don't just go, I'm just here to make my money and go home and no. Actually, go to school, learn your material so that you are proficient in what you are saying. And that goes for me too. Some days I feel like, I don't need to really know this material. Like, I don't really care for it. But it's vital, because at the end of the day, we are literally saving lives.
True.
In clinical, you have pharmacists working in oncology. You have pharmacists working in palliative care, ambulatory care. These people are coming to you for help. They are paying thousands of dollars, because you know how these health systems work. Thousands of dollars to be in these places. And so you need to make sure that when you clock into work, that you are presenting and being attentive to patients and other healthcare workers, because certain times we work with teens. Certain times, even community pharmacists, they see a prescription and they're just like, if you see a prescription and it looks kind of shaky, you need to be able to call the doctor and be like, are you sure this is what you actually wanted them to take? Or I feel like I could suggest or I could recommend something better. Do you think we can discuss this so that this patient isn't taking what they're not supposed to be taking? Basically, take initiative. Um, and so, and be confident. One thing I would say, America is built on confidence.
I
So
agree,
you too,
actually.
you need to be confident in this,
Mm-hmm.
in whatever you take on,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it doesn't matter if you're a type of person to study for only 6 hours, take another 2 hours in addition to it, just so you make sure that you actually know the material. You know what I mean? So do what you have to do to make sure that you are the best pharmacist you can be, because at the end of the day, a life is in your hands,
Mm-hmm.
literally. So yeah, and whether that's in community, whether that's in managed care, whether that's in pharmaceuticals, whatever field you're in, regulatory, don't take shortcuts. Do your job properly.
Mm. Thank you so much for for those wise words. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Osereme, for being on the Met to Be. Before
Mhm.
we leave, is there anything else you want to share with the people? Anything else I didn't ask you that you feel like we need to know?
Um, I mean, me personally, I'm always open to questions. I'm
Okay.
only a P1 right now, and I have a long way to go,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm always open to people asking me questions,
Okay.
wanting to know about whether it's the school, whether it's functional areas that you're interested in. I think like I have a lot to share because I do my own research, but I also take it. It would behoove you to
Mm-hmm.
also do your own research concerning these things because that's how I got to where I am. Do your research. That's the last thing I'm saying. Do your research. Don't just do something because someone told you to
Mm-hmm.
or because you think that's what you're meant to do. Do your research and actually make sure that this is something that you want to do. And I want to just pivot a little bit more into like know who you are as a person. If you're
Mm-hmm.
someone that doesn't do well under stressful environments, do not take on roles or positions or jobs that you feel like are going to stress you out or take time away. If you know you're a family oriented person, whether a woman or a man, and you want to be family oriented, don't take on things that will stress you out. Like for me now, I've had to talk to one of my advisors about, when I graduate, where do I want to go? What's the functioning area that would be best for me? Because by the time I graduate, I'll be 30.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to make sure that I go into a career or a line of work in pharmacy that doesn't take that away from me, too much. So really do your research and know what you want so that you're not constantly because this life is short. It's like I can't even believe I'll be 30 in 4 years. Like it's kind of insane.
Mm-hmm.
So do your research, take the time, sit down. I promise you, within like 2 hours, you'll get to the answers that you need to get to. You'll even find more questions to ask. That's another thing. One more, sorry.
Go ahead, please. Stop apologizing. Go ahead.
Ask questions. Please ask questions. I'm going to on LinkedIn this weekend to start asking random pharmacists in
Mm-hmm.
different functional areas questions. If you don't have your LinkedIn now, you better open it. Even before you get to school, open it. Just
Mm-hmm.
start asking people in different jobs, like, oh, what do you do? What does this mean? Like, what are the hours looking like? Ask people
Mm-hmm.
in the field what they're doing. Don't just look at Google and be like, oh yeah, they just big making $150,000 a year. No, ask people for real. Like, what is my trajectory looking like if I do this job,
That's really
And
good.
and
Yeah.
this is not just for people trying to go from college to medical school or PT school, whatever they're going. This is for high schoolers. It's for middle school, wherever you are in life. Ask those questions. If your parents have a LinkedIn, like, Mom, I'm really interested in becoming a doctor. Ask your parents to go on LinkedIn. Ask people who know these things, because that's what I plan to do. I think like me being where I am now, I know what I lacked when I was
Mm-hmm.
younger,
Mm-hmm.
and I know what I'm gonna do for future generations. Even my sister, my brother, like in terms of asking questions,
Paying it
there's never a
forward.
wrong question.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Wow, girl. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anything else? Please, if you have something else to say, please say it. Don't hold back. Don't hold back.
Oh,
Seriously.
I think that was my even my closing thing, but
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Please
that's
don't
it.
hold back. All
That's it for
right.
me.
Thank you
Love you
so much.
guys.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Love
So
you. God
you're
is
okay
with
with
you.
you're okay with me putting your Instagram in the
Yes,
captions.
that's totally
Okay.
fine.
So I'll do that then.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you so much everybody for watching the Meant to Be. Thank you so much, Osereme, for being here. I
Thank you
pray
for
that
having
this journey is one of success, just joy and peace. I pray
me.
that the next level family level, if it happens now, whenever it happens, Lord, that it's
Wait, I have
peaceful.
a
And
question.
Huh.
Where are you at?
Me? Where am I? Where am
Hmm.
I at?
Yeah, like
I
what's
am
going on
in, like, where am I physically, or where am I in my journey?
in your journey?
Oh, I'm not. I'm the interviewer. I'm just kidding. This is not the purpose of this interview. I'm just
Okay,
kidding.
fine.
No, I'm just joking. I am. So I'm applying. I just applied to med school again.
Amen.
This cycle, I have a few more apps to send out, and I'm hoping for the best.
Mm-hmm.
A really random, a few random things about my journey. You didn't ask me what I'm going to tell you, but I've been in this for a while. Like, I feel like medicine is something I've been like half. It's something that for a while I think was almost an idol to me, which is, and it was an idol to me. Like, it was very
Yeah,
do or die for me
yeah.
at a point in time, and that's been stripped away. But
Amen.
for a while, it was a do or die type of thing for me. Now it's one of those things that, like, I feel makes sense for where I'm going, but
Right.
I'm also open to other things. And I think it took a while for me to get here, and it was essential for me to get here.
Yeah.
And that's even why one reason I think it will work out this year for me by God's grace is because I'm in a place where it's like, it's okay. Like, it's going to work out
Wow.
at the right time. One of my people who wrote my letters of recommendation, this is super random, but she actually passed away recently. I
I'm
realized
sorry.
every year she has written my letter of recommendation since I've been in
Yeah.
grad school.
Mhm.
And I'm like, dang, this woman, I didn't even know what was happening with her life. I didn't know what was happening in her life. I didn't know this was going to happen to her.
Yeah.
And knowing that she gave me her words of encouragement and support in my letter of recommendation, God, please let her words not be in vain. Let it help me get into school,
Yeah.
please. This journey has been so long and so painful. There's so many times where, like, girl, why did you ask me this question?
No, I think this
there's
is important.
there's
Yeah.
so many times where I have faced situations of people telling me, like, advisors, not advisors, but admissions people, like, telling me that
Mm.
I'm not enough or what I've done is not enough.
Mm. We've all heard that.
Which
Yeah.
which at first would which would honestly break me down and, like, crush me.
Mm.
But I also have had people who are in that same space tell me that the things that I've done are extraordinary. So I
Yeah.
think it's like, one, go where you are, go where you're appreciated. I pray the people that are appreciating me take me. Um I know that I think one day when everything is done and when I'm in that
Mhm.
next chapter, I will share everything entirely.
Mhm.
But I will say that I think I have a strengths and I have weaknesses as a candidate. I'm not a perfect person, but I do think that it would, I do think that I can be of value in the next chapter as a
Yeah.
physician. And I
Yeah.
just hope that somebody sees that and is able to
I know
take
that. I
me in.
think you're of value now.
They,
I don't know if
I
you're
am valued
very valuable now because
100%.
this podcast is
Mhm,
literally advocating. I honestly, when I was questioning things, I like things like this. I like things that talked about people that weren't that didn't do the strict
mhm,
line. You know, I like the
yeah,
people who pivoted. I like the people who actually went through certain adversities and
yeah,
had a journey and a story to tell.
mhm,
I think like it's amazing if you can just go to college, go to medical school, just have that boom, boom, boom. But I think for me personally, it's even more amazing when you have a story
mhm.
behind it because life isn't linear.
So true.
Like the life that we know is not linear. So it's good to know that people and more people are telling their stories. And I
Mhm.
would say don't be shy to, I mean, obviously there's times where you have to,
Yeah.
move back and, keep things to yourself and really just work on them. But I think like continuously telling different parts of your story is vital to somebody who might not, especially since you're still, applying to medical school, you're
Mhm.
still on that journey. Some people are like, let me just give up. But your story will be one where it's just like, no, I didn't give up or I didn't pivot or whatever it is. Like I knew this is what I wanted, and no matter the amount of no's that I got, one day there is going to be a yes.
Amen. One day there'll
So,
be a yes. One day there'll be a yes. By His grace,
and there'll be
this
the
year there'll
right
be.
yes.
Yes, that's what it needs to be. And I agree, and I thank you for that. I just feel like I pray that it's a yes that I don't have to settle in. I think one
Mm,
of my worst fears with school, with career, with relationship is to settle
yeah,
just to get somewhere. I think I've
yeah,
never been just to do something. Like, I've never been.
let me just be with this person just so I can be in this, or like let me just go to this school so I can be there. So I just pray that I don't have to settle with wherever I'm going next. But yeah, honestly, it's been I
Yeah.
think it's hard work. Um, I think what you have done is hard work. Anybody who is doing anything actively and consistently is hard work.
It's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to balance everything that you care about. But honestly, it's all for God's glory, and everything
Mm,
has a purpose as well.
mm,
When we were talking about diversity chapter, I actually thought we were going to talk about the one about there's one about discipline that's been like kind of a thing in
mm,
this season of life. It's like discipline is painful for its time, but I think
mm,
it yields the
mm.
fruit. Or, I'm misquoting this one, but I'll
It's
I'll
okay.
put
We
the
will.
correct one. I'll correct it later. But it was like it's really spoke to me because like a lot of things that you desire, a lot of things that I desire, I think they take time to receive. They take
Yeah.
time because they require work and they
Mm.
require a certain type of molding. I think one thing we talked about in our pre-interview was like a molding or like going through the fire, like a testing or
The
like
refining, the
a
refining.
refining,
Yeah.
yes, refining type of thing. So I
Mm.
think that's like it's just a lot, but honestly, by God's grace, we'll get there. By God's grace, the right yes, that a yes I want to have to settle in. It's so interesting. This is actually the first. This is the first time in a while. I'm a Christian girly,
Yeah.
but one thing I realized I don't do is pray before my podcast start, which is strange
Mm.
because it's like one thing that I'm very passionate about. But
Yeah.
I prayed today before I started the podcast, and I was like, wow, I think God has done His
Amen.
thing. I think God has done His thing. Yeah. So we thank God for that. But yeah, man.
I appreciate you a lot. I was
Thank
actually really
you.
excited when you reached out
Oh,
to me.
yay,
I was.
yay.
But I was like, I'm going to talk about
Yes. Yes. Please tell your story. Tell
Yeah.
your story. That's good. I'm thankful that you came. Thank you so much, everyone, for chatting with us, for listening, for sitting in. Have a wonderful day. I will see you on the next episode of the Meant to Be. Bye.